at that time, all right. So I'm trying to derail from that. I understand what you were talking about on that, but how you feel when Suge saying Keefe didn't do it though?
It pissed me off. Now here you got all these men protecting him, done fought for him, and here Keefe D talking about how they was shaking in the car and all this bullshit. You got the nerve to say free Keefe D?
Oh man, Suge got everybody coming out the woodworks and speaking. What's the word, y'all? Always watching TV. Back with another exclusive. So we got Mob James speaking on that infamous night back in Vegas. Keefe D and Orlando Anderson pulled up in that Cadillac and aired out Tupac and Suge Knight in they Beamer, man. Now this is supposed to be a Mob James interview, but y'all know, of course, Wack100 decides to pull up, pop out, and steal the show, man. Y'all already know Blood got main character syndrome, man. But I'm not gonna speak too much for these guys. I'm gonna let y'all hear the audio for yourselves. And then we gonna pull up with the politics at the end of the video. Y'all know the vibes. It's always watching TV. Make sure you like, share the video. Pull up in the comment sections. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you get notified whenever we drop. Follow us on all socials at Always Watching TV. And let's just get into the content, man.
See, it was already street politics going on, and then when that happened, it intensified the situation. Shouldn't have had to say a mother thing. Damn sure he shouldn't have said free Keefe D. He damn sure shouldn't have said whoop the whoop didn't do it. Now he's saying I never paid nobody no money. Why you pay this boy this money in that fight in the MGM? My little brother in that fight, the homies in that fight, and Suge was in that fight.
You know why he paid him? He was trying to beat the case, bro.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
denying paying him, but he did some because he ain't tell. He gave that nigga more money than he was giving the homies over there. But I'm gonna keep it real. Him saying free Keefe ain't a bad thing. What really is a bad thing is the homies, niggas like K Dub. We gotta stop protecting because they from our side, telling, giving description of the cars and a lot of bad shit went on with that mob. You know that, bro. I got to
Well,
work. I got
okay,
some ugly work over
let me
here. You
wait a
know what I'm
minute.
saying?
Let me elaborate on what you're saying. Because and then the paperwork that Lil Keefe put out there with all the names on
No,
it.
no,
Ain't
that's
none of
just a
these
list.
names.
That all that is a
Wait,
list.
I know. That's just a list.
Yeah.
But all of these names and all of the people from Southside to the mob to people that were standing
Well, I
next
just
to
got the power rule list. I ain't get the crib list.
okay, see that's what they didn't want to do. So
Now
what
I'm gonna
happened
tell you.
was
I'm gonna tell you this though. I personally called the nigga when I got the list. I said, "Hey, homie, this list is here. I'm looking at it. What's happening? You on the nigga list on everything power rule stand for?" Blood said, "All I did was give a description of the Cadillac." I said, "Blood, that's foul. You out of line." And then I hit two. One from
okay.
Fruit, you know who it is, and I
Yeah,
hit
I
the other
remember.
homie, Monkey Man, and send it. You get what I'm saying? So Blood, in the minute to that, we gotta stop cleaning it up. Niggas do marks on our side. Blood is mark shit on me. Paul Root, Crip, or whatever. I ain't protecting none of these niggas. None of them.
And who
Keefe
is
D
it?
wasn't wrong that night, Mob James. You know that, bro.
He wasn't
Keefe
wrong.
wasn't
Wait
wrong
a minute.
because if it would have been you, you would have did the same shit to a nigga. If not worse back then.
Wait a minute. What you mean? Keefe D was wrong about what?
I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, let the roles be reversed, right? And I ain't
No,
using that name because that's a G
what he
homie.
didn't do
But
wrong? You said he wasn't wrong. What he wasn't wrong
he
about?
ain't do nothing wrong that night. He ain't do nothing wrong that night because his retaliation is what was expected. If a nigga would have put hands on Timmy like that, right, and he doubled back, man, you niggas would have got out the car on them
Okay,
niggas.
I've said this in many interviews. I said the homies dropped the ball that night when Orlando was jumped on. They dropped the ball. I said
Yeah, they should
also,
have finished it.
wait,
Yeah.
let me finish. Let me finish. What I said was Tupac has never seen Orlando or Southside Crip in his life.
That's a fact.
He been hanging with Suge. So if a rapper touched me, like Suge said, Tupac put his hands on me. I'm gonna tell you
That's
now,
come
like
on,
I
bro. But
been
listen,
saying.
let's stop. Look, Mob, listen, bro. We got a lot of differences, but the bullshit he say, stop entertaining it, bro. Like everybody
I don't
know, and if the
entertain
world
nothing.
don't know, yeah, like him saying Pac put his hands on you, he wasn't gonna put his hands on you. That's just that nigga talking, bro.
I'd have killed him. I wouldn't have had, and I
That's a
don't have
fact.
a problem right now
And I'm
today.
gonna speak.
So
Look, listen, we got our differences today, right? That's what it is, right? But I will say this: back then in them days, if it wasn't for Mob James, it wouldn't have been a Buntree, it wouldn't have been a neg, it wouldn't have been a lot of shit over there because he started that train. He created that, and the homies followed Mob James because of who he was. It wouldn't have
I'm
been.
just,
It wouldn't have been the death row the way it was. So when he's saying that shit, we all know you the nigga he leaned on for the strength. So ain't no way a little nigga like Pac is gonna be pressing you when you the strength. So it ain't no even sense addressing that one.
well,
That's just
well, we
Suge
know the
talking.
we know the truth about that, and I say this: Mob James was no different than a Montreal, a Neckbone, Heron, a George. None of them. All of
I mean,
those
yeah,
guys.
all that
Well,
was,
no, let me say, all the homies was on the same level, the same page, and understood. One take off, we all take off. And
well,
you
that's the
know,
rules. That's how it always been.
right. So with the KPD thing, you know, I would have did the same thing. Nigga take off on
That's
me
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
way
So
I
if
did
you
the
would have did the
motherfucker.
same thing, right? Wouldn't you want a nigga saying free Mob James if you was up against it?
I've been promoting that from the longest. I take my licks like the homies should take their licks. What
That's a
happened at
fact.
the MGM? What Suge should have did is got Tupac out of there, and Trayvon should have went over there and handled his business.
That's a fact. Trayvon, and he always do that. Run back, whisper. He always do that punk. That's a fact. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
so that night would have been totally different. Tupac would have still been alive, probably.
And me and
You
you
know,
both know. Listen, me and you both know. TVD ain't gonna hurt a butterfly. Now he might send something, but he personally ain't finna do a mother. You know that. And he
well,
ain't
the
cut
things
like that.
that the emphasis that they put on KPD, the shit that he got in his book, KPD has never been one I ever ran to on some gangbanging shit.
No, he was a
Like
hustler.
I
He wasn't
said,
a banger. He was a hustler.
I
He
never,
from
I
where he
never,
from, but he ain't like bro, ma. He from where he from, but he ain't that. Everybody ain't that. You know that, homie.
well, I know.
So let me
People
ask you,
got
let me ask you,
different things.
Mob, let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah,
Um, you think if you was at the MGM at that night, you think it would have been different? Like if
I,
you think you could have stopped Tupac from spazzing out that night?
Hell
I
yeah.
know, I know it would have been different
Hell yeah. He
because
wouldn't have
one,
did that because he'd have thought Mob would have tripped on him.
if not, Trey would have got his mother's work because
That's how it would have happened.
I know for a fact that Tupac don't know who Orlando is.
He didn't know who
And
he was.
I
Yeah.
know Trayvon went to him instead of the homies. And people fail to realize this was the reason why Suge had the homies there. Now it's heated between the mob and Southside. So it's on site. It wasn't for Tupac. I never considered Tupac to be from the mob.
He ain't.
When
That
they
nigga
came
ain't a
with it,
power root. Period.
no, listen. When they came with it, and Trey was he from the hood, he from the hood. That's the only problem I ever had with Tupac. Tupac ain't spilled no blood on our soil. Tupac ain't never been in our clique. Tupac ain't never did shit for the hood. So that was the only problem I had with that young man. You ain't from the hood. And I had my arguments with Buntry. I had Trey when the issue. Shut the fuck up, nigga. I don't care you put somebody on the hood type shit. So it
I
wasn't
mean, but listen, but Mob, here go the thing. Let's keep it all the way gangster. Trey was a rip before he put a burgundy flag in his pocket. Blood ain't solid. These
I
niggas don't be
look,
wanting to tell what's real around this motherfucker. Can't
Wack.
no nigga that come from the other side cross over to our side and call no dogs. You feel me? The homies and accepted you or whatever. You know that, homie.
Wack. You got a whole lot of mother. power rules from everywhere that lived in this hood and then moved here and
I
then
ain't saying lived. I'm talking about lock that motherfucking blue bandana round their hand and wrap that shit. I ain't
well see
tripping lived.
Trayvon never came to the hood. When he came to the hood, he came
Shit.
to his grandmama house. And and I mean Trayvon is a long story, but short. You know, no, he wasn't off the porch in the hood. He wasn't hanging with Timmy and his crew. No, he wasn't around. He came after the fact, way, way after the fact. And then a bunch of them took a liking to this dude. Trayvon first time in the county jail was with me in the blood march. And it got pressed. Nigga, you better fight. If you don't fight him, you gotta fight me. You feel me? And that was the majority of the homies that was in the blood macho getting played with, or whatever. So the politics is totally different in each hood. Each hood was different.
I
And
mean,
you got a lot
that
of
it
brothers.
always been that way, but the overall thing is this, and you know it, nigga. If you was once from the other side, somehow, some way, through family, friends, or whatever the fuck, you didn't cross over here and got accepted. It's only your voice only goes so far. You know that.
He never had a voice. He never had a voice. Um, he had a voice that night whispering to Tupac. That's the nigga that jumped him.
Yeah, man, you could tell both Wack and Mob James ain't really too fond of Tupac, man. They ain't really like Pac. Pac came out there, was getting all the money, was influencing niggas, and they looking at it like they from the land and they should be influencing niggas and getting all the money. But yeah, man, Wack says Keefe D wasn't wrong for that night. Both of them had their rebuttals towards a lot of things Suge Knight been saying over these years. But you could kind of tell Wack and Mob just being cordial, maybe because it's public and you know they saving face for the West Coast. But I don't think both of them don't even get along either. And it was kind of funny as well. I heard a few contradicting statements, man. I heard Mob James say Suge shouldn't have been screaming free Keefe D. Then when Wack pressed him and gave him his scenario about, you know, what if it was the other way around, he basically agreed with Wack. So which one is it, Mob James? He shouldn't have been saying free Keefe D, or you agree that, you know, if it was the other way, you would want somebody to say free Mob James? Like, I don't get it. Then you got Wack saying Keefe D wasn't wrong for retaliating against Pac and Suge that night, basically confirming that Keefe D was in the car. He was a part of unaliving Tupac. Then minutes later, he goes, Keefe D wouldn't hurt a butterfly. He might send something, but he won't do nothing. Bruh, the man was in the car when they pulled up and aired out Tupac. I think it's safe to say he would do way more than hurting a butterfly, bro. That ain't just sending something. You in the car while it's happening. They say he passed the blick off to Orlando. Like, come on, bro. Like, why is he trying to downplay the man gangster because he's 67 years old and he in the county jail right now fighting for his life? Come on, back then, hustling might have been his priority, but he was with all the smoke too. He was in the car when they got at Pac and Suge Knight. But what y'all think about this, man? How y'all feel about this? Almost 30 years later, and we still speaking about that night in Vegas, homie. As much as they try to downplay Tupac gangster and, you know, say he was perpetrating and all over the place. He from the East Coast, he from Baltimore, he from West Coast, and wherever he go, he repping it to the fullest like he was born and raised there. At the end of the day, 30 years later, y'all still talking about this man. He's been dead and gone. He done hit half of these old niggas' girlfriends. That's why they mad. Because back then, Tupac had everybody girl. And he wasn't on no lover boy shit. He was dogging them out, slutting them out, and sending them back to these guys, man. So now that Tupac out of here, he got smoked. And 30 years later, everybody got their business and their money up. And they survived all the so-called wars. Now they ready to say Tupac wasn't a gangster. Back then, nigga was running around and terrorizing you niggas, man. Got y'all crashing out. Back then, if Pac could tell one of you niggas, yo, handle the business, y'all would have stepped for Pac. So why now y'all trying to act like the nigga was a weenie and he was just out here doing a whole bunch of goofy stuff? It wasn't all of this social media stuff, bro. So he was really like sending shockwaves. Niggas spitting on the camera, he getting shot, he shooting at the police. Come on, bro. That ain't like nowadays with 6ix9ine going to old block 4 in the morning and perpetrating gangster stuff, bro. Like, it's completely different, homie. But what's y'all thoughts, man? Pull up in the comment sections. Let me know what y'all think, how y'all feel about this. Y'all know the vibes is always watching TV. This was a long and in-depth conversations. I'm going to have a few more clips with different topics coming from this same exact conversation. So stay tuned, man. We coming with a lot more content right here with these guys. Y'all know the vibes is always watching TV. Like, share the video, subscribe and hit that bell. Follow us on all socials at Always Watching TV. And until next time, y'all know the vibes. I'm out of here. Gang.